Now, I want to move on to a couple of advanced stretches. It's good to get the normal straight line stretches in, which is fine. But at this stage, I want to add a little bit of kind of rotation. I want to introduce a little bit more pressure on the hip flexor to try and get that building up. Now, I've been trying out a few different ways of doing it. An earlier one was the seated figure 4 stretch. In addition to that, what I've added is a little hip flexor strengthening exercise, and it's an active stretch then. What you actually do is you lift up the leg that your foot's on, and it stretches out the affected leg, and it strengthens up the hip flexion opposite leg. The advantage of this is when you switch over to the other side, you get a little bit of a stretch on the unaffected leg, but what you're really looking for is you're looking for the weight of the unaffected leg on the operated leg to strengthen up the hip flexor on this side. Now that does put a little bit of pressure on it. Now you can do this in various positions. You can do this seated, which feels comfortable enough. You can do it laying down as part of your core exercises or stretches. So you put your foot on your knee, let it come down, let it come up, stretch it a bit, straighten out, and then up and down. An active stretch right here, and then switch over. So do a few of those, both sides. Now the most difficult way of doing that type is actually laying on end of a bed, end of a table or something like that. You actually let your legs hang right down so you get a stretch right the way through. Now you need to have a good core for this, otherwise you get too much curve in your back. So you need to bring yourself back so you're comfortable enough, and then stretch out, and then you let the weight of it stretch the hip flexor, stretch the unaffected rotators, and then lift up so you strengthen the hip flexor. Okay, switch over, let it come down, stretch out this side, strengthen up this side. And that's a lot more difficult. Now that's a progression of the earlier figure 4 stretch. Come up and go into the single leg bridging again. Now instead of just holding it static, now try and make it active. You keep your leg straight and you touch your bum down and up, down and up, down and up. And you get active strengthening of the hamstrings, of your glutes. Switch over to the other side. This is a lot easier. There's nothing wrong with this leg. Go back onto the operated one. A little bit unsteady. Works the muscles quite a lot. Very, very good strengthening exercise. Those two little things, this one, and then this one. Very, very good. Very, very quick little exercises, just to strengthen up the core.